Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We've got live tournament action coming at you right now. I have got Shakoi on the line with me as well. We are going to be co-casting this absolutely fantastic matchup between master level players. Shakoi, what do you have to say about this matchup?
Well, I'm excited to see this match. I love PvZ because there's a lot of different things that can happen. It's a very aggressive race versus a defensive race.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a good balance play.
Yeah, and the one thing I like about this matchup is it lends itself to DT play, which are they're honestly right now DTs are my favorite unit. I am really pleased with DTs lately, and I love to see stuff like that go down in these matchups.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
It's a big map though, so if he is going to use DTs, it cannot be scouted. Otherwise, an overseer is going to be up in time easily.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Especially when they're in such long proximity from one another.
Yeah, that's correct. They are in those. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to mention real quick that someone told me once that on this particular map, you never fight each other on the same side. And it's interesting that I believe that's true because Mr. Coconut, he went to scout, he went bottom left and then top left because it's very, 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 very unlikely, if not impossible, that he would be top right.
Right. I think even on the Blizzard map, it is impossible to spawn in those close ground positions. I believe. I've never seen it happen, but I know on any other version other than Blizzard's, it is definitely not possible because they make sure of it. But I think even the Blizzard version, they had in one of their updates, I think they made it that way on this map as well. So I think it really balances the map because otherwise, I mean, it's not far between bases. I mean, it can really favor like a Zerg player pretty heavily, and or any rush play for that matter.
Looks like this is the third game that I've personally casted where it's this map, it's PvZ, and the Protoss player tries to wall off at the expansion and Forge expand. So I'm curious to know if he will be the successful one. So far, Protoss is 0 for 2 on this.
Yeah. Yep. It has not been very much fun.
He's going to build a gateway here, though, and probably use that side area right above his pylon to be his choke point. So,
actually, there's... I don't know. It looks like there's space where that probe is.
It's possible. What I usually do, if I don't know, I'll just run my guys through my probe and see if he finds a way to get through my line.
Right.
I don't know. There might... that's close. Yeah, there must be. Otherwise, he wouldn't put a cannon there. Yeah. So maybe it's on purpose. Maybe he wants that space open.
Yep, that's not a bad spot for it.
Yeah, why not?
Here come the Zerglings, but he's going to have 2 cannons up by the time they get there, so he should be set to go.
No Zergling speed. That probe should be able to do what it wants to do. I'm assuming just it's going to poke real quick before it dies.
Yeah, he wants to see what's going on in his opponent's base. Look at this. He's pulling a queen towards the ramp to try and stop it from getting his scouting information. That's great play from OptikKob. Boom. Didn't even let it get up the ramp. And so now even though there's nothing going on up there, he's definitely scaring his opponent right now by doing that.
Looks like Optic has a Zergling, a drone still in Coconut's main base.
I know, it's been cruising around like crazy, and he's not only is it cruising around, but he's not patrolling it. He's actually microing that thing the whole time. I mean, look at APM too. It's ridiculous. The guy's averaging 220 right now. Oh, there he's starting to patrol it. See, I see what I say. I say that stuff, and then now he starts to patrol. That's okay. But yeah, I mean, it appears that Coconut is going to be in pretty decent shape, but look how OptikKob is responding.
Yep, why not?
Why not? I mean, he knows his opponent's not going to be moving out. Might as well put himself on 3 base immediately. It's at the 6-minute mark when he got that down. So that's a pretty early third. I mean, that's almost Spanishiwa style, you know what I mean?
Curious to know. I mean, he's building a stalker. He's got no gate technology in the works. I guess he's just not going to go for gate technology.
Right.
That would really suck if Optic just decided to say, what the heck, I might as just well go Muta, because that would be GG.
Yep.
That probe is still, or that drone is still fighting.
It's ridiculous that how long that guy's lived. Finally going down to that stalker. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. But this definitely, Mr. Coconut, I do want to say, has really stayed on top of his probe production. Even with OptikKob now on 3 bases, has done a pretty stinking good job.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing. He used that drone in that main base for so long, he knows there's nothing in that main base. He has his Overlord camped out next to the natural, and he's seen everything that's been built. He knows exactly the building structures that Coconut has, which isn't a lot, you know? So, I mean, he could probably even take a 4th if he wanted to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
There's absolutely no danger. And he's going to send this Overlord in and see massive gateway unit and to Templar play.
Yep. Templar Archive. There goes the Forge.
And then we've got Optic. He's going to go Roach and Baneling.
Nice.
That'll be interesting.
Yep. That's about the first time I think we've seen a real Spanishiwa type build.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of funny because even though the build is named after Spanishiwa, he doesn't utilize it that much anymore.
Oh man, look at that. A second hatchery. That's an interesting play.
The switch one ping for me? Oh, I see. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that's kind of interesting spot for it, isn't it?
Yeah, he's just going to use it just to mass units, I think.
Yep.
It's the only purpose it will really serve. He's going to get his pluses on his evolution chamber, an infestation pit.
Ooh, nice.
Seems like a lot of. That's a weird transition.
Yeah. Well, if he stays with Heavy Roach, then I mean he'll be in pretty decent shape. But Mr. Coconut's looks like he's going to be pumping out a lot of Immortals.
Immortal. It'll probably be Immortal with a few Archons, but majority HTs.
Yeah.
And then he'll use that Storm to clean up any Master Gleans. The Roaches will be taken care of by Immortals. I believe that's his theory behind it.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Immortals are super effective at taking out Roaches. If you mouse over their their attack. Mm-hmm. Normally 22 damage versus armored 55, and that Roaches do count as an armored unit. So they are a super effective unit against Roaches. The trouble is that they're so expensive, and you usually can't get them in enough numbers sometimes against Roaches, because Roaches are so easy to produce. Mm-hmm. And for a Zerg player, it can be difficult to utilize as a good counter to those Roaches. But he's going to be moving out across the map here, it looks like.
Very interesting.
Now, OptikKob, while he has gone Spanishiwa style, he has not gone Spanishiwa style for map control. I mean, Spanishiwa really, really, really focuses on knowing when his opponent's moving out. So, kind of interesting here, but it looks like he's going to be backing up here for just a little bit anyway. Zergling's coming in here to snipe the probe. Look at this. He does see all the High Templars now. Looks like Mr. Coconut's probably going to commit to an attack right now. I just don't know if this is great timing. I mean, that is a lot of Roaches.
I agree.
I mean, he's maxed out. I mean, OptikKob has literally got almost a maxed out army right now. So it'll come down to Storm placement And micro. And Mr. Coconut right now is supply blocked as well. That is not a fun situation to be in. This is kind of tense. He's just cruising around here. Here we go with the attack. Ooh, good storms. Look at all those storms.
Very nice.
Archon's coming. I just don't know, man. Looks like in the end that just wasn't enough damage.
I agree. I'm not a huge fan of Storm against Roach. I don't really think it does enough damage.
They're such a robust unit. I mean, I would probably tend to just go with more Stalkers, Immortals. You know, Stalkers with some Immortal support and then a bunch of Zealots to eat up the damage, because the Stalkers, they do extra damage to Armored as well. They do 16 damage instead of 12 with this +2. And so that makes Stalkers, if you can keep Stalkers out of range of them, the Stalkers are super effective against Roaches. And also the Immortals, but I mean, you can't ever get enough just Immortals to take out a whole mass army of Stalkers. So, but he's going to be moving out here again, and this is bad timing, I'd say. Oh my goodness, look at all these Roaches.
Yeah, you know, I am a fan of HTs, High Templars. I think they're good units, but I don't think that they should just be your standalone. You know, I mean, if he was going to make that push, he should have had more Archons.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, yeah, great, you got some storms off, but High Templars are pretty much useless as soon as their energy is up.
Right.
I mean, I think maybe they are fully useless, honestly. Unless you have enough to make an Archon. But, I mean, if you're getting smashed in the army, you don't, I mean, the Archon's going to be created, and then it's going to be surrounded by 50 Roaches?
Right, yeah, and at that point, he's going to go down almost instantly.
Oh, good scout on that Zergling at the bottom of Zelnaga Tower. He's going to see this full army, know exactly what he's working with.
Yeah.
I think Optic is in a great position right now.
Yep, safely on 4 base. Oh, look at this. We do have an attack down here we're missing. My goodness. Getting a snipe on that. Wow, very, very well done.
He's doing what he can.
Yep. Yeah, anything he can do right now to keep his opponent on his back, at least away from his base, is a good thing at this point, because, you know what? He is at 140 supply, just barely getting his 3rd base up. Looks like he's going to be moving out here now that he knows those Roaches are out of position.
This is a better army composition from Coconut.
Yeah, I agree. I would like to see maybe a couple more lots in there to absorb some damage from those Roaches, but this many Stalkers should be able to handle. I think he's got enough anti-Roach, I guess is what I would say at this point.
What I'd like to see is Roaches in the front, Zerglings surround, and a fungal growth, but his army is way out of position right now.
Yep. There comes the Infestors, and he backed out immediately. Coconut saying he did not want a part of that. Do not blame him at all.
Oh.
I'd like to see some feedback on these Infestors. There goes the feedback on one of the Infestors. Feedback in those Infestors, but now they are completely out of energy. A lot of neural parasites going down, taking out those super effective Immortals. Oh man, that just did not go well for Mr. Coconut. But yeah, beautiful. Go ahead, tell us how nice of an attack plan Optic Cob had there.
You know, it's almost like Optic has no choice but to just shrug. You know, like, oh, okay, whatever. You're just like a fly in my way. I mean, that attack literally was controlled perfectly. Yeah. There was not one moment where I could say Coconut was ahead.
Yep.
I'm curious to find out why he used feedback too. I mean, if he had used his storms, I think the Infestors would have just died.
Yeah, well, it's good to use the feedback right off the bat, because that will take out a lot of it ruins their energy, number one, and then it also will stop them from being able to cast their spells. But he kept casting feedback on them after he had cast it. So, I mean, once you feedback them, then it's time to start storming. So I think just a little bit of a misclick there. But you know what? I'd say this is about to be GG. There are 6 Ultralisks about to walk into the main.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You know, something that hasn't been talked to in this game that's kind of cool to know. Optic has blocked off any opportunity for an expansion by spreading that sludge.
Yeah, he's
You
done a
look
really
at all
good
the
job.
different spots. I mean, he blocks it off. Not only does he know if he's trying to expand, but he knows that, you know, his opponent can't.
Yep.
Good game.
Very, very well played. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for coming out. Mr. Coconut does a little bit of ground to make up here in Game 2. We will be going to that here in just a minute. Don't alt-tab, though. Always alt-StarCraft. We'll see you guys then.